Hello everyone, I'm your host Mariana and you're listening to A Degree Farther, the official podcast of the graduate school at Hood College, where we feature current students, alumni and faculty who are innovators on our campus and in our community. Today we are going to talk about the 3-minute thesis competition, this event that is present in more than 350 colleges across the world, where students have the opportunity to present their research projects in a very original format. We will talk with Kori Payne, the last competition winner. Kori Payne has an Associate of Art in General Education and a Bachelor of Science in Kinesiology, Occupational Therapy. She is a current graduate student in the Clinical Mental Health Counseling program at Hood College, and she is currently working as a resident hall director at Hood College to gain more experience in understanding the young adult community, improve her decision-making skills, and develop community teamwork. Kori has gained an interest in researching and exploring what life accommodations and tools are needed to increase hope and life satisfaction for women and people of color. Kori presented her thesis at the 3-minute thesis competition and she won first place in her category. After her upcoming graduation this May, Kori will be attending East Carolina University to pursue her doctorate in counseling preparation research. This episode is an invitation for all the students to participate in this competition. I hope this information is very useful for you. Don't forget to follow us and turn on the notification button. Enjoy it! All right, Kori, thank you so much for being here with us. Congratulations for winning
Thank you.
thesis. And well, we're gonna start talking about that. So if you can make a little bit of context about what is 3MT or the 3-minute thesis.
Yeah, no problem. So, basically the 3MT competition is a competition that was founded in 2008 by the University of Queensland in Australia. It is now held over or more than over 350 colleges across the world. So the goal of the competition is basically to present knowledge to a non-technical audience. So people who you wouldn't actually find in your, program, students. This would be people who have never heard it before, which is an important skill within this section. Students present their research projects each spring at Hood and all over the world as well. And it's under or just meeting 3 minutes using a PowerPoint, one single slide. No other resources are used or allowed, such as props or such like that. Students are judged on clarity, pace, audience engagement, and stage presence. All audience members are then welcome to cast their votes for best presentation. Usually it's People's Choice Award. There is a judge's winner, and then there is 2 People's Choice Awards. And I was selected as the first year's winner for the community judges.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, because it sounds very difficult. Like I saw the presentations and I was like, whoa, that's a lot of information for 3 minutes.
It's an incredible amount of information. Incredible.
Yeah. So what motivated you to compete in this Hood High Profile 3MT competition?
Honestly, it was my colleagues, I would say my cohort. Some of my classmates were like, why not just do it? Just go for it. Why not? And I was like, oh, okay, sure. Why not? And the previous one of the winners last year, her name is Layla Basile. She won the People's Choice Award, and she was like, yeah, I did it. It was fun. It was, I got a great prize, and I just put myself out there. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. So she actually came to my competition this time, and she cheered me on, and then I won. So that was pretty surreal. Let's put it that way.
Yes, and that's a great friend too.
Yeah, she's awesome friend.
And I think it's a good experience, at least, like to try it, to prepare it, to participate, even if there's no like rewards.
Yeah.
Yeah, and talking about your presentation, can you give us a little bit like of overview and why your presentation was important?
Yeah. So my presentation surrounded the idea of grief therapy, and let's see, I want to kind of, it's hard now to put into words now that I don't have to rush it all. So essentially, mine is about the cultural and importance of adding accommodations into grief therapy for marginalized communities. And I specifically was looking at, throughout my research, I was looking at Hispanic and Latinx youth and Black youth. I did not look at Asian communities, Indian communities, specific Islander communities. So there's a lot of communities that I could have looked into, but this primarily was the population that I did display information for. So basically, the overall concern in grief therapy is that there's a need for functional accommodations for this population. This population does face a lot of barriers to civic participation, so may not be as much as not being able to go into a place feeling comfortable that they'll receive the accommodations they need because they're from a different culture. Or it could be as simple as microaggressions and assumptions, stereotypes. It could be a lot of things. But I go into that in more detail in my research paper. But for now, it's just those general terms. And with experiencing those, if this group, especially children, are not able to receive these helpful aspects, they can have functional impairments, self-esteem issues, and academic and social I would say problems. Yeah, huge academic and social problems within school-based. So it could be within community centers that I was looking up as well, but mostly within school systems, I was seeing that there's a drastic difference in those who received it and those who didn't. Um, so entirely my research was to emphasize the importance of helping this population in their grief process through cultural accommodations. And that doesn't necessarily only mean race, ethnicity, nationality. That's actually not what I'm trying to emphasize in the word culture. I'm more so trying to grasp the importance of individualism, because individual traditions, individual customs, individual acts, behaviors, that is what a culture is as well. So yes, you could have a racial culture, ethnicity, but then you have to come down a few levels, a micro level, or even smaller than that, to actually evaluate what a person needs in their time of grief. And for counselors, we have to already be multicultural, competent, and aware of certain things. So, as you've learned as well, culture is not just race, ethnicity, and nationality. So that's also what I really have been focusing on. But however, due to like limited research on similar populations, the potential utility of my study, it can be used as an expansion of knowledge. So I'm not necessarily finding anything new, right? We've heard about cultural accommodations, cultural awareness, and cultural considerations, but mine is adding to that to emphasize how important it is for it to happen. And once you keep reiterating, keep having redundancy, then people can start looking, people can start hearing. And that's honestly what I'm trying to do. So basically like a research activist, trying to be strong and bring power to this side of the community, which is through research rather than protesting and such. So that's kind of what I've been trying to do. But yeah, that was a long-winded answer to your short question. So hopefully I answered it.
Yeah, that was perfect. I love the name that you say, like research activism.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So yeah, you can copy that, patent it, you got it.
I will. Yeah, especially in a country like United States in which we have like there's all the different
Yeah.
cultures and races and ethnics
Yeah.
and all these.
Yeah.
So it's very important to do it and to say it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And bring up a very interesting point. It's I was only focusing on the United States. I was not expanding to other countries, surrounding countries, right? We live right on top of South America where a lot of Hispanic people live, or a lot of Latinx derivatives. So it's interesting that what's it called? These ideas and considerations, accommodations are kind of only brought out in the United States, but other countries it's not as prominent or may not even be as um prevalent, I would say. But yeah, so you bring up a very good point. I only did my research in America and United States of America. So
Yeah.
not South America.
Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
nice that you differentiated.
Yeah.
That's super interesting. And it will be nice if you can share us the research so we can put it, like, we can add it to the caption of this podcast, so if people want to see it like more in a deeper way.
Yeah.
Um, so how you prepare for this live competition?
Um, so I did let's see, I typed a competition proposal. Um, but that was for my own personal needs so that I have that as my notes for the competition. Um, it's a little too long to read for as soon as the competition comes on, so it was mainly used as a study guide. I Actually, let me take a step back. I did submit my title and a mini blurb of what I'm doing for my research, and then I had to get accepted for that. And then after that, I was given the green light. So then I started practicing just small, um, minute things that I was practicing. I wasn't trying to jumble my brain with a lot of information because I didn't want to overload the audience, and I definitely didn't want to forget anything. So I was like, let's stay simple and sweet while presenting. So yeah, that's what I did. And I have a whole little long proposal thing that says 3MT competition practice. So that was mine. Yeah.
And you did it great.
Thank you.
So, and how was it like to compete virtually? Because I understand that before it was in
Yeah.
person, right?
Yes. I think so. I think before last year. So last year I know it was online, but before that I'm not exactly sure. But I know sometime it was in person. And I think I would have acted very differently if I was in person. But virtually it was more relieving because I had a little bit more control,
Mhm.
and it gave me a little more cushion for presenting. I didn't, what's it called? I wasn't standing on a podium with bright lights on me by myself in front of all these people. So that was a little bit easier. However, I think it would have been a little more enriching if I was in person. I feel like it would have been a challenge, and I think great awards come from great challenges. So I think it would have been a little more enriching that way. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I absolutely understand your point. Were there any surprises during the event? Like something that you were not expecting?
Let's see. Hmm. Oh, I was not expecting um the well thought out presentations. I was like, wow, okay, people, I thought people were throwing it together like I did because I really did it last minute. And I really thought people were just kind of throwing it together and grabbing from previous research and just, stating it as quickly as possible. But a lot of these presenters were extremely professional, were organized, were simple, and well thought out. So I was like, wow, that caught me off guard because like I got some competition. I have competition. Every single person that kept going, I was like, oh no, it's getting better and better. So that kind of gave me a little wow, okay. Woo, I'm a little nervous. And a lot of my friends were messaging me privately and were like, wow, that was good. That was good. And I was like, don't tell me that. Yeah, so
Well, I don't know if that was the best help.
right, right. Some
But,
friends.
well, but how you handle it?
Yeah, I definitely tried to collect myself and just say their topic is their topic. My topic is my topic. If we had similar topics, then yes, I think we would have been a little more competitive. But
Mhm.
since it was different topics, I was really thinking to myself, I'm going to take charge of what I'm talking about. And no one else is talking about it. So what can I really lose?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a very good way to see it.
Yeah.
And at the end, it works because you got the first place.
Right. It worked out.
Yeah. And what was the impact you had when you, like, when they say it, like, you got the first place in this competition?
um, it was weird, very weird. I had a little bit of a gut feeling that I did really well, as in for doing it for my first time. I was like, oh, okay. And presenting is I'm a person who needs to work on presenting and I guess what do I say? Topic points, simple terminology, just all around the idea of presentations. So I've been working on that for my professional development. And doing that was a little out of actually a lot out of my comfort zone. So when I won, I was like, oh my gosh. That was like it gave me a little more, let's say, how should I say it? I can't think of the word right now. It's
Like,
escaping me.
believe,
Validation.
like, okay, yeah.
Yes, validation. It gave me a little more validation that if I practice and try, not always gonna be perfect, but if I just do it, then I can see where I need to go from there.
Yeah,
So it was positively impactful.
that's amazing. Yeah, the worst thing, like, that can happen is that, I mean, what is the worst thing? Like, even if you don't win, it's not a bad
Exactly.
thing. At least you
Exactly.
try.
Yeah, I really do think is the experience. And before last year, I was like, nope, I don't want to do that. Why? Who would want to do that? I don't want to present. I can't do this. So I didn't do it last year. But this year, I was like, I have a different mindset. I went through my practicum internship for my master's program, and I was like, I'm a different person now. Let's try it. Let's try it. So yeah,
Good. And there's any skills that you use to, like, practice or prepare for this competition or during the competition, or like in all this process, that help you now that you feel like, wow, this helped me for my career, and like,
yeah,
how that, if yes, like, how?
yeah. So let's see. I really practiced on speech alliteration, so enunciation, and clarity in my voice. I really practiced that because I don't want to sound mumbling or like this and like people can't understand me. Like I don't want to sound like that. I want to also bring my presence. So I was really practicing speech presentation and alliteration in that way. Um I did really knuckle down on time management. I have been working on that for a long, long time. Um, so just making sure I finish what I need to say in under 3 minutes. I didn't want to get close to 3 minutes. I actually gave myself 2 minutes and 55 seconds to complete everything because I wanted to give myself that wiggle room just in case, because anything does happen, right? You sneeze, you cough, you make a mistake. I made a mistake, and I was like, let's get back on track. Come on, you can do this. So just wanted to give myself that extra cushion as well. And then lastly, I really tried to work on organization, clarity in that. Tried to cater my presentation in a way that a non-traditional audience would understand. And that is the primary goal of winning the 3MT competition, right? As I said in what the 3MT competition is to a non-technical audience. So I wanted to make sure I was simple, I was straightforward, I was sweet. I wanted to help those see what I was seeing from their perspective.
Yeah, you just mentioned three very, very important things, I think, for every profession.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and for our last question, I think that is
Yeah,
one that everybody's expecting, is what are your advices for future
yeah,
PMT competitors, like people that will like to compete in this? Like,
yeah. Honestly, let's see. Hmm. the biggest one that I can't stop talking about and reiterating is focusing on being simple and straightforward with your information. Yes, you can add a lot of fluff, you can add fancy terminology, and I know some specialties and programs can't necessarily take out the words, right? Because it's how you actually describe what's happening. I understand that. Science, computer science, environmental science, oh my gosh, all the sciences, right? There are some things you really can't take out. However, if you can change that, if you can make it a little more simpler to a point where you can explain it to a 50-year-old person or a 5-year-old child, if you can explain to both and both people get it, then I think you're golden. So I would say it's being very simple, straightforward, organize your thoughts, and make sure to smile. Make sure to smile. I tried to go in with good evening, everybody. I tried to welcome them into my world, to what I was feeling, right? And I think that's a very important aspect as well.
Yeah, like enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great way of putting it. Enjoy it. And you're already on the you're already in the competition, and you have to speak anyway. So you might as well have fun doing it, right? You might as well. And that's what I tried to do. That's really what I tried to do.
Yeah, that's great advices.
Yeah.
And I feel like talking to you motivates a lot of people to at least try it. Because as you, people can get surprised. As you say it, you got surprised of winning, and that's amazing.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah,
I hope it encourages them. If they don't win, don't blame it on me. What's it called? It'll be fun. You might put yourself out there, what the worst thing can happen is that you don't win and you already presented. It's
yeah.
only 3 years.
As soon as you learn and you enjoy the process is perfect.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for taking time
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
this.
no problem at all. No problem at all.
Very nice talking to
Yeah,
you and meeting you virtually.
yeah. Absolutely. Oh yeah, virtually. It's okay though. Maybe someday we'll get to in person and such. We'll get there. Yeah. But I appreciate you asking me and inviting me to speak on your podcast. So that was another experience I've never done. So
Yeah.
you can ask me about that later. But
Yes.
yeah, so I appreciate it, and I hope it goes well for you.
For you too. And that everything that comes gets better. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to A Degree Further, the official podcast of the graduate school at Hood College, where we help you go farther in your life, in your career, and in your community. Be sure to tune in next time and to catch up on all the latest episodes. Visit hood.edu/A Degree Further. I'm your host, Mariana, and thank you so much for listening.